You are now listening to the Glow Up podcast. We are recording virtually in our homes right now, but still a part of the Soundcasting Network. I am Naomi Raven, and I am writing solo this week. Casey is out, and so I'm excited to run this on my own. I want to give a really quick shout out to Monique Floyd, King Floyd of last week. She dropped some amazing gems for us. And being a strong woman and learning to love yourself. And so if you haven't tapped in, you need to go listen now. And I'm really excited to talk to our guest this week, which is Sara Lovestyle.
Hi.
Hey, Sara.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, she is a celebrity chef, social media coach, and a lifestyle influencer. I just told her off camera, she is who I want to be when I grow up. Super inspiring, super excited to hear your story and how you became you. But before we get started, I want to remind everybody, rate, review, and subscribe on all social media platforms. If you have a small business, don't forget to sign up for our email list so that you can subscribe to be a part of our Spotlight feature where we are highlighting small brands and businesses to give you a little shine and let people know who you are. And if you sign up for our email list, you are welcome to some exclusive discounts. So don't slip on that. And so as we get started and get to know you a little bit, we talk about our weekly wins and lessons. Okay. Is there anything this week that you won in or that you learned a lesson in this week, Sara?
Yeah, actually two things, but they kind of tie together.
Yes.
Like I'm almost like sick and tired of hearing the word mindset, but like mindset and manifestation is so real. It's so real. And there was something that I had been struggling with for a little bit. I just felt off this month. I was off my game. And Tuesday, I'm like, you know what? I just need to stop. I'm trying to outpace God. I'm trying to, whatever you believe in, I am trying to outpace the universe. And the universe sat me all the way down.
Okay.
Somewhere and sat down. And you know what? When I stopped, got into meditation, got into my word, and really just shifted my mindset, all 5 things that I was manifesting happened in 24 hours. But I didn't have my mind right. So that's my loss and my win that kind of went together. The universe sitting me down.
Yes.
Also, like once I gathered myself and the world gathered me, I was able to manifest what I wanted.
I love that. Anything that you can share that you manifested?
Yeah. So there was a particular deal that I wanted, and there was a number that I wanted it at. And I was told that I was crazy and that I'm insane and that it can't be done, especially as a Black woman. It could not be done. And it's like the biggest, like, yes.
Yes, you showed them.
Yes. But that was God showing me that I also wasn't ready. My heart and my mind was not in the right place. And what was I doing it for?
Yes. Ooh, you're giving me goosebumps.
When I shifted my mindset to, gratitude is being grateful for where I am in the journey that I've been on. I'm so busy worrying about the next thing. Sometimes, you know what? You just got to sit. Sit and just be. And it's okay. Like this hustle mentality it's not always beneficial. And it's not always productive. And so for me to be able to say that I did that. And then the second one actually was I always wanted to go into the children's space because I am a mom of 2.
Yes.
But I don't know anything about that area. And it's very male dominated. It's actually not run by women, which is surprising. And I just became an investor in a children's sector.
Congrats.
I know nothing about, but God got me and I'm just going with it. I just have to be obedient.
Oh, I love it. Y'all listen, be obedient.
Yes. So nobody knows I did that, by the way. You're the only one I just told.
Oh, exciting. Well, our listeners will be the second.
Yes, they will.
That's so exciting. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yes. So mine, my win this week, it's kind of basic. I had a really tough week. So the universe kind of sat me down too. And so really just knowing that I made it to today is a win in my book because there's so many people who go through struggles and really hard things and it takes them out. So the fact that I am still smiling, I'm healthy, that is my win this week. And it's really simple, but it's a big accomplishment in my book because your mental can take a hold and drag you down a really deep, dark hole. But I'm still standing. And so that's what's most important.
See, to me, and that's not basic. To me, that's powerful.
Mm.
That's where your power lies, is in your mind. It's in your joy. It's in your peace. And if you can have that at the end of the week, that's a darn good win. That's a
Ain't it? Ain't it? Yes, I am very thankful.
Yes.
Yes, well, let's move on to our vibe check. Is there anything that you're vibing with this week?
I have been in a Hove Nipsey mentality. Like, that's where my vibe has been.
Okay.
I'm not really sure why, but that's where I'm at.
Because you hustling, you grinding. Building your queendom like them kings.
Exactly.
Yes, it makes sense. Mine is just seeing all these small businesses, even large brands, highlighting women this month because it's Women's History Month. It's been really cool to see all the different commercials, all the different ads, and all the advertisement on social media that are highlighting women because we don't get recognized enough. And so it's kind of sad that it takes a special month. Like, I hope that this continues and this opens up people's eyes to how amazing women are and how hard women work. But being able to see all these businesses and brands highlight people over this month has been special. It's inspiring. And I'm learning a lot about dope women that I did not know about prior to.
Yes. When Beyonce said strong enough to bear the children and get back to business, like, I felt that.
Yes.
I felt like we need that tatted on everybody's forehead.
Yes.
Because we are so underestimated. And you're right. I've met so many incredible women this month that I didn't even know existed 30 days ago, which is so sad.
Yeah, so let's continue it. Keep uplifting our women.
Yes.
We need it, and we're queens. So, yeah, so we're going to take a really quick break, and then we will get into our interview. This is our little break, and we're back. So, Sara, I know you do a million and one things. You are a busy woman. But tell us about who you were before all the hustle and grind.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two. I've always been kind, compassionate. I've always been strong in self. But if I can be honest, there's something about getting married and having kids where you lose your identity. And I remember I struggled with that for a lot because I had kids young. So I struggled with identity in my 20s. And then I can say that, my brand actually started because I was angry. I was so mad. I'm an autism mom, so my son was just diagnosed. And I wasn't angry about the diagnosis. I had kind of known something was wrong anyway. I think once I got over the shock and then like giving myself permission to grieve the diagnosis and the future that I had planned for us, once I got past that, I was so angry that I'm like, God, this can't be for nothing. Mm-hmm. There's no way you're putting me through. And he's not putting me through, but there's no way I'm dealing with this issue, this predicament. I'm in this situation. This can't be like the depth of despair, not to be dramatic, but I'm like, this can't be it. You have to be using this for something.
Yes.
And so for me, that's where my brand started from. I don't think even my OG, the OGs, I don't even think my early, when I started my page, that people were in the midst of also like watching me shift and grow as a woman and in my own identity as I'm trying to decide who I am and who I'm supposed to be in God and in the world and what my place is. It's so scary to go through all of that, especially because vulnerability is not my strongest. Like, that's not my thing. I'd rather be tough. That's easier. But to share the parts of you that hurt, like the most in the area that you want to protect the most, that was really difficult for me. But, before all of this, I knew I had a purpose. I just didn't know what it was. And I think trying to navigate that space was interesting. In terms of like my background, I'm from Seattle. I'm Ethiopian. I was born in a I was born in a refugee camp, and I came to the States when I was 4. And so, even like going through like the cultural Ethiopian American intertwining was hard, but it led me to here, and this is who I am, and I'm grateful for the journey, even the ugly parts.
Yes. So, were you doing anything specific before focusing on you and finding your purpose? Like, were you on a different career path?
Yeah. I was in
Yeah.
politics.
You were in what?
I was in politics.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was in politics. Yeah, I worked under a Republican congressman, and it was an interesting experience. But I realized that that world is not for me. I'm not.
Yes.
I don't have the heart for it. I don't. I just can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of an ugly world,
Yeah.
an ugly business, for better or for worse. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I can only imagine a world I don't think I could be a part of.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. But you know what though? It, even as difficult as it was, it made me really tough quickly. I think it also prepared me for the influencer world. It prepared me for contracts. It prepared me for how to deal and manage with people with different personalities. I didn't realize that even that was preparation for where I am right now.
Yes. So, what was it like going from, because I would assume you were kind of helping that person be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
What was that switch like going from highlighting someone else to putting yourself out there?
Oh, I hated it.
Really?
It's so much easier to be behind the scenes. That is, I am naturally an introvert, which most people are surprised by, but I am such a, yeah, I'm really an introvert. So being by myself is easier. Being in the background and highlighting somebody else is so much easier. Talking about yourself and storytelling is not comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially when there's the opportunity to be judged by a lot of people. Yeah, I definitely never thought that this is what I would be doing ever.
How did you get past that feeling of being uncomfortable?
What's the acronym? Fear is evidence appearing real, and it's not real. There's a difference between danger and fear. And one thing I've always done is work through my fear. I have found that even if I'm dealing with imposter syndrome or I'm in spaces where I don't necessarily feel qualified, I've always thought that if God found me qualified enough to put me in the room, that I am qualified, regardless of what anybody else says. And it's my responsibility to either be and tell that I'm qualified, or to ask questions and learn and just figure it out. I say yes and figure it out on the way. What's the saying to like build the plane while you're flying?
Yeah.
That's always been my motto. I can be scared to death, and I'm still going to say yes and figure it out on the way down.
I love it. That's so inspiring because in doing that, that makes me think that you are a very busy woman. If you're saying yes, you're figuring it out on the go on top of juggling your life as a mom. Where's this energy come from? How do you keep going?
So I was talking to a friend of mine, Jeremy from Black People Eats, and he's incredible. If you're not following him, I highly, highly recommend you go follow them. And I was telling him, if it wasn't my purpose, I don't think I'd be able to. But I am at the point in my life where I'm so in tune with who I am, and I'm so hyper focused on the route that I'm supposed to go. Not to sound all like biblical and whatever, but
Come on, you can preach.
like, right now, I'm in a space where I'm able to hear God better than I've ever been able to hear him in my life. And I know when I'm supposed to stop before danger comes, or I know when to go when I'm supposed to. To be honest with you, if it was not in alignment with my purpose, there's no way. It's impossible to. It's just not possible. And I think each aspects of my life and my career have a team, and by having a team, it frees up my time to be a mom. It frees up my time to have me time. But it's like when I'm in alignment, things kind of easily flow. I don't know if that's happens to you when you know it's so right that you can do it, and you're eating and breathing it, and the vision is so big. And as even if no one else understands it, the vision that God's given you is so just enormous that you know it's your job to just keep moving.
Yeah.
Oh, and a lot of coffee. A lot.
I feel you on that.
A lot of coffee.
And so you mentioned too, with having your teams and it frees up your time.
Mhm.
How do you stay organized in it all?
So if you would have asked me that 10 years ago, not a chance. Not a chance. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I would have said, I don't know. It's a big cluster F word. But right now, my entire life is like, there's a calendar for it. Like there's a calendar for me time. It's all color coordinated. So like my color for me is blue. So everything that's in blue is my calendar. And then each child, I have it color coordinated on my calendar as well. And as insane as that sounds, like even with your partner, your spouse, if you don't put that time in, like, and if I'm not really intentional about putting it in my calendar, the day will be over before I know it. And my kids are 9 and 10. Thank God, they're amazing. But like I do dates with the boys with each of them by themselves, so that they, even if like today is a huge film day, content day, right? But like tonight I'm having a Nerf gun battle with my little one. That's what he wanted to do. And
I want to join.
So fun. Girl, and they let me hit them. And they think it's fun. I don't know if I should be saying that.
Oh, no, it's okay.
But, you know, they want Nerf gun battle. So sometimes, you know, a friend of mine said that there's a difference between a present parent and an active parent. So I'm really, really active with them so that the time that they do have with me, they don't feel like they're being like pushed to the side. But also like my hours, so between like 9 and 12, that's like my meeting hours. And then I also homeschool them. The kids are always next to me whenever I have meetings. People just know at this point to just accept the fact that there's going to be a child that's going to say hi, and I don't apologize for it. But my life is literally color coded because it's the only way for me to keep things like together without losing my mind.
Yes, organization is important. Because if I was as busy as you, if I didn't have things lined out, I know that I would rest in that time of not knowing like what actually needs to get done.
Yeah.
And something that is super inspiring that you do is, one, you keep your body snatched and encourage other people to do so. And you're cooking. I kind of want to ask you some tips on cooking because I'm trying to master up some of my own skills. So what are some tips to help make you a better chef when you're juggling so much in your life?
One is preparation. If I am prepared, so I'm going to sound like a psycho, but like on Sundays, I decide what the meals are going to be for the week. And if I figure it out ahead of time and I shop accordingly, then I'm not going to end up in a drive-through every single day. That's the first thing. So the second thing is to like meal prep for me, especially for my body, because I can't eat what the boys eat. I make sure that I try not to be distracted by what they're eating. So I prep for myself. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up snacking and ruining my healthy diet. And Summer Body 2022 would be in order in 2021. And then the other thing too is like Pinterest is my best friend. Finding recipes that you can tweak. If you can follow a recipe, you can cook. It's really that simple. I know for me, when I launched Belay and Belle, which is my spice and sauce company, I launched it because I realized that every time I had to cook, I own a whole pantry that's just seasonings. Like that's out of control. Why isn't there like one seasoning that I can just pull and grab from to just make my life easier? So I wanted to create spices that were universal, that I could use across, you know, different meats or veggies or what, and it still tasted good and it's kid friendly, but I didn't have to grab 27 ingredients to make one single thing. So it's finding the spices that you like, experiment, but a recipe is meant to be, I don't follow the rules. So I color outside the lines. So if you find a recipe and you like it, tweak it, change it up, find a combination that you love, and just makes your life so much easier.
Do you have your boys cook with you?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
We made donuts this morning.
Oh, okay. Yummy food too.
And it's math and it's science. It's like an experiment. So a lot of the math that I did with them when quarantine happened was actually through food. We would cook, they would learn to measure. It's math, and then they got to eat it. So they were super proud of themselves.
Yes, I love it. And so I want to touch on something that we kind of talked about earlier, in having to be vulnerable in what you do. Like you put your life out there, you're allowing people to see your lifestyle and hoping that it encourages them to better their life. That can come sometimes with a lot of scrutiny or just haters that aren't happy to see you progressing and being successful. And so if I were a wannabe upcoming influencer,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to me to remain level headed?
One, I don't call them haters. I call them celebrators. I'm like,
Ooh,
look, I'm being celebrated. That was one of my coaches. That's what he told me. He said, don't worry about if they're hating or not. They're just celebrating you. If you are being noticed, it's a celebration. And
mm-hmm.
and the second thing I would say is a lot of the hate is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And it's so far beyond me that it has nothing to do with me. Their hatred or their trolling or whatever is more to deal with how they're dealing internally. And typically, depending on the comment, I might pray for them,
Okay.
because I need some prayer. The other thing too is I don't respond ever. That was a rule that I made when I started at the beginning part of my career. I have girlfriends who do, and they respond, and they do a phenomenal job at it. Me, I'm not doing it because it's incredibly draining. I
Mm-hmm.
can't, I don't have the energy to do it. And so if you know for your own mental health that you can't and you don't want to, don't respond as much as you want to. Like I'm the queen of slide and delete. Like I'll
Yeah.
delete block. My block finger is very strong. I just that's what I would do. The other thing too is like keep your blinders on. It's your race. The only person you are racing with is yourself. Like
Mhm.
stay in your lane, run your own race and don't worry about everybody else. Because honestly, the trolls come. It's kind of the nature of the beast. Does it hurt your feelings every once in a while? Yes. But you gotta let it go. It's a
Yeah.
rough business, but you gotta let it go.
Well, you're killing it because you're inspiring me, and I know that our listeners are going to be inspired by the end of this. If they're not following you yet, y'all need to do it right now. And so, I want to also ask you, what are 3 tips on living your best love style life?
Ooh. One, me time is non-negotiable. When you are at your best, you can take care of everyone else. Number two, I would say if you're waiting for the perfect time, just start. Whatever that means to you, just start. There's never going to be a golden unicorn roses. It's just not going to happen. So start now. And then the third thing that I would say, and I see this a lot with content creators or influencers, is you're waiting for perfect. You're waiting for perfection, and the content has to be perfect. My feed has to be perfect. All this stuff is perfect, right? Perfection is not profitable. It's just not. And so by waiting for perfection, waiting for what? Your audience has no idea what the idea of perfection is in your head. The measure and the standard in which we set for ourselves isn't even real. We're making it up in our own heads.
Mm.
And when your audience doesn't know and you're meant to serve, you are doing your audience a disservice. You are doing people that you meet every day a disservice by not speaking. Sometimes, even if it's good or bad, things that happen in your life, they don't happen to you, they happen through you. So if you are meant to serve and speak and impact and do something for someone to create them to do something, because influence is one person. It doesn't mean 100,000 people. It's one. Move and serve. It's not about you. Serve. That's what I would say.
Yes. Well, people need to tap in with you because that alone, my whole soul, it's filled right now. You spoke some major truths. Where can people follow you, find you, tap in with you?
Yeah, I am at Sara Lovestyle on all social media platforms. For spices and sauces, it's Belay and Bell, which is named after my daddy. And yeah, that's how you can find me. And I answer my own DMs and I answer all comments. So
Beautiful. So it's authentic, it's real, it's really you.
yes, it's me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and joining me today. I'm super happy to have gotten to share your story and chat with you.
Thank you for having me so much. This is fun.